Okay, good morning to you all. Okay, so coming back to my life and who I was and who am I at the moment, I'll speak to you all on that. So if you all look at me on the age of your age, if you all went to my school friends or my teachers, they will say, never follow a person like me, right? Because I did study, right? But it was not who wanted to get best results. I was not focused on results at all because my father, who was a former journalist, he told me university is not your ultimate objective. And I don't know why, but it was not the same to my sister. They said you have to go to the university. For me, they said university is not your ultimate goal. Your ultimate goal should be something else because they thought that since I did sports, I had friends who are not acceptable friends for the family. That means we were doing things that normally respectable girls were not doing. When I say respectable girl, it's not about doing other things. It's about, being tomboys. So they felt that I should be associating more with girls than associating more with troublemaking girls and boys. So I had more boys who were called my friends than girls. But then again, I'm heading a women organization. So you must understand the shift which has come from the top boy to handling and women organization. So what I found in my life was I had a happy childhood, and childhood means something that I enjoyed. And I went for classes like y'all, right? I enjoyed being who I am. And also I enjoyed being giving trouble to the teachers also because I question a lot. I was not a silent student. I always ask questions. I still remember in my A-level class, the Sir Lakshman, first time in a convent A-level class was given to a class teacher who was a male, that because our class couldn't be handled by all the lady teachers refused to handle our class, right? So the Sir Lakshman said to other parents who came for the parents meeting, be like her, ask questions. But I was always were punished for asking questions because I wanted to know why, how every time. But when we go to schools, we were told not to question, right? That was the first thing we were told. Any of you all have said, teachers have said to you all to talk or to be silent? Even Headway, did they ask you all to question from the teachers or to be silent, listen and write down? Now you all became silent to me also.
They tell us to talk and ask questions.
Okay, if there is nothing called stupid question and there is nothing called a brave question also, right? And always remember, if a lot of girls, especially the girls, are scared to ask question because if people laugh at you, if you think about the people who's going to laugh at you, you will never grow in your life. Remember that. I have always bothered about trying to be someone. When I was in school, when my parents were pushed me to be a lady type girl, I always try to be that person where I lost myself. So don't try to be someone who you are not, right? Be yourself. Let people laugh at you. Doesn't matter as long as you believe in yourself. So then only it took me years to understand who I want to be and who am I. So the purpose of life. I'm going to talk about how I found myself in a purpose of life because from the carefree students and the childhood who had a lot of friends, I don't know whether you all have done as a girl what I have done. I have challenged boys and I have gone for fights, right? I have run marathon on roads. I have cycled myself from Vattala to Golfest, right? And from Kandana to Vattala. as a young 12-year or 13-year-old girl, right, 15, 16, I have been a tomboy. I have climbed all the trees in my life, and I have played whatever the games those days were not for girls, right? I have ride motorbicycles with boys for races. That was my life, but I did my sports and everything, and I did my studies. But if you ask me whether I have any regrets, no, I don't have any regrets because I still can talk. But I have friends who have been perfect students, perfect people, and they were looking at me and they are talking about my childhood, but when they should be talking about their childhood. So I'm not saying that they didn't have a child, they did have. Each and every person has a separate life story. So make your own life story and don't ever forget to live your life. So to live your life, you have to find the purpose of life. So what you want from life, that is the first thing you have to find out. What you really want from life. If someone can just tell me what you really want from life. One answer.
Happiness.
Satisfaction.
Sorry, Putha.
Happiness.
Happiness, very good.
Experience.
Experience, okay.
Good memories. Or good memories.
What good?
Memories.
I didn't get it.
Good memories.
Good memories, okay.
Food.
Sorry?
Food. Food.
Food.
Friendships.
I cannot hear any boys are talking.
Pleasure.
Pleasure. Okay. So, as someone rightly said, there's no right or wrong answer, but end of the day, we want to be happy, right? Our life should be happy and we should be able to smile. We should be able to laugh. We should be able to have some good memories. And also, the ultimate goal of the life is to be a happy human being. So I'm going to ask you all a question. Do you want to be successful people or do you want to be happy people?
Happy people.
How many of you all raise your hand who said you all want to be successful people? Okay. Happy people? There are few in Ambilipedia who does not say happy or success at all. So where you all want to be this thing? So I'll ask from you all this. Are the happy people successful?
Not always.
Not always, okay. Are the successful people are happy?
No, not at all.
Maybe.
So success is equal to being happiness. Every success person cannot be happy. You can have money, you can have a good job, you can have everything in your life. But if you are not happy, you are not a successful person. But if you are happy, everything you gain is a success for your life. Right? Even if you get a small house, if you are happy with that, you are successful with that. So the success is depend on your happiness. Happiness is not depend on your success. So you have to find your the reason of your life. What do you really want from life? Are you want to be only a successful person? Are you want to be a CEO of a company? Or are you want to be a profession person? Or you want just to be who you are? Are you want to be happy person? So it really matters. A lot of us were taught to have an objective in life. Don't have a just objective. Understand yourself whom you want to be. We were not taught. I never wanted to be who I am today. I really didn't want to be who I am today. I wanted to, I never had an objective. What I wanted in my life was to be with my friends and just to enjoy, because I never had a responsibility, right? But now if you ask me, I think after my age of 30, I changed my life a lot. So every day I look at, those days I looked at having objectives of life and having a success story. Today, I'm keen to find the happiness in everything I do. So what I'm telling you all as young people is just jot it down. You don't need to show it to your parents. You don't need to tell your friends or your teachers. When you have time in your life, just this thing, just put it down. I wanted to be this person. I wanted to look this. That's collect it, and read it when you have time. Don't just read the things that have put you down. Read the things that you are keen to have it in your life. We were told to remember our mistakes. I'll tell you all, don't ever remember your mistakes, but remember the lessons, but dream big. It's okay to dream big. I'm a person till today, I dream big. So I'll tell my story when this goes down. Who you are. Don't let people define who you are. You define yourself. You know, when we were small, we were told to write that essay. What was the essay, first essay you were told to write down? Bless you, Buddha. Myself. So what we wrote, I am a girl, my name is this. So we wrote about ourselves. Now when we grow old, when you are asked to write about yourself, we think a lot. I don't think that your age is thinking, but if we were asked to write about ourselves, we were thinking about writing down our qualifications, thinking about writing down our positions, thinking about writing our what we have achieved. But how many of us want to write about me, myself, who I am, what are the qualities I have, what are the values I have, what kind of a person I'm, how good I'm as a friend. Those things are called knowing yourself. So when after I finished my A-levels and everything, during my O-levels, before the results came, I had this desire to be employed. So my mother said, you are just 16. You, according to the law, you cannot work, right? But I didn't want to go for those classes because in our age, we had only for girls, we had only 2 or 3. One is cookery class, other one is sewing class, the other one is shorthand. And I hate all these things. I hate sewing and I didn't like cookery. I like to eat only. And I hate shorthand because all the old men are teaching you shorthand. So I didn't want to go for those 3 classes. And we didn't have any other classes. So I was look every day. We had only one paper which had vacancy, that is Sunday Observer. So I always look at it and I look at for the walking interviews because I didn't have a qualification, experience or anything. Then there was a vacancy in a Dutch company, a tea exporter company, and it's a temporary position for a training. So I went for the interview and I really liked it because the lady was going on maternity leave and I was supposed to, and she was the secretary. And she was beautiful and they had a old computer and I don't know any of you all have seen a telex machine. So that was the reason I actually wanted to take that. I really started working for 3 months till my O-level results came. Now, whereas a lot of my friends has gone for classes, cookery, sewing and shorthand. So I worked as a secretary without knowing shorthand. And because I really wanted to find experience than just knowing something. So that made me to realize that I wanted to be a secretary because I thought you can dress nicely and you can have a separate room. And also you're being given a good salary. That's my only thing that I really wanted. So I did my A-levels, and before the results came, I started doing my chartered secretary. Chartered secretaries is company secretaries. Remember, my objective was to be a secretary because I saw a secretary, right? And I saw that she's so beautiful because as a young girl, I wanted to wear beautifully and go out from my family so that I will gain freedom, right? That was my only thing. Otherwise, your mother comes everywhere you go. Even for the first few days where I worked in that company, my mother came and dropped me and took me there. So I couldn't find the freedom where to dress nicely and wear high heels and go in the bus, right? So those were the small things I wanted to do. So I did my chartered secretary. Then my A-level results came. So I was not selected to the university because we are from Colombo. So our results were not enough for Colombo to get into doing commerce. You have to get at least 4 A's. We didn't get the 4 A's. And so you are not suitable for the university. And normally parents will scold you if you are not good get into the university. My mother was the happiest person that I couldn't get into the university. You know why? Because she thought if I go to the university, I'll join a union and do riots there also. So my mother felt so happy that I was not selected to the university, whereas my sister was selected to the university. So after my A-level results came, I started, when you were doing the chartered secretary, you have to get experience. So I was joined one of the multinational chartered secretary companies called Coopers and Lybrand, where I actually learned about being a professional person. And I still remember it was one of my lifetime experience working for a multinational company. So if you think that I got everything very easily, no, my father was well known by a lot of politicians, companies, and every business people. But my father never ever helped us to get a job. He always said, if you want to do a job, you find your path. Don't ever mention me or ask my favor. So that's what I learned in life. If you want to be who you are, you have to find your own path. Don't think because your parents are known, because your family is this, because of your school, you can get it. It is who you are, how you face things. So we were told not to use our father's influence to get jobs. And that's till today. I have been working for multinational till end of my career. And only 2 companies I have applied all my life. All other companies have headhunted me. So remember one thing, when you know what you want in your life, when you have write your own statement of who you are, the world cannot put a label to you. And don't let anyone, even if your teacher said you are stupid, let you be stupid for your teacher, but not for yourself. Even your parents say you are not going to be who you are, don't bother about it. Inside you believe who you want to be. I let myself to tell people who I am. Some said I will not be successful. Some said I'm not going to be the woman that my family wanted me. Some said I'm not going to be a good mother. Some said I'm going to fail in my life in everything I do. And the same people are now comes and ask for help. So don't ever allow people to tell you who you are. Write down the things whom you want to be and who you are. Those are the things you have to work in life. I'm a person who had a happy life and who went down in life for, I don't think any woman should go through the life I have gone through. That is something I always say. But today, who am I is not because of anyone, because I started believing in me. So start believing in you. Have friends, but don't try to find friends. Be a friend. I actually, that's something I want to tell your young people. You go and find friends. Don't try to find friends. Be a friend. And also, especially the boys, I want to tell you, a lot of girls in Sri Lanka are very successful and they are educated. A lot of boys want a happy life, but not educated and not successful. Very soon, you will see the girls are going to be in a high places where boys are not. Then you will have a lot of issues. So I want boys also to understand life matters. The boys thinks you don't need to write down things. You need to write down things on your own way. And boys thinks you have a good memory. You don't have a good memory. Women has a good memory. They will remember each and everything. So please be competitive. Otherwise, you are going to lose your future very soon. Use what talents you possess. The woods would be very silent if no birds sang there, except those that sang best. Your talents are your competencies. I never knew I can speak like that. Yeah, my friends on social media put it, my classmate, childhood friend, they said, we never knew you can speak like this. And I used to say, I also never knew, I only knew how to fight. Right? I didn't know that I can speak like that. I have never been in a debate team in school. I have never been in a English association or Sinhalese or nothing. I have never been into that. I have always been in the grounds. I have never been into any of these things. Because in school, the things were, the positions were given for girls or boys who are really doing well. And I was never been in class. And I always, our next school was St. Benedict's. I always sometimes jump from the parapet wall and being in the St. Benedict's also. So I have been not that person. But when you find your talent, you will find yourself. So how did I found my talent? So at the age of 21, 22, my mother wanted me to give in marriage, right? So when I was, I don't know whether it's called, say, a love story or a marry, I had an affair, but I challenged, I told you all, I challenged, right? So I challenged a boy and he agreed. So my mother found out that he's related to us. And my mother said, okay, you're going to get married to him. And I said, no, I'm not going to marry to him. Then look at, she said, he's the best person for you because he's silent and you're not silent. So I had to get married to him. So at the age of 21, I got married, and at the age of 24, 25, I had 2 kids, right? So I didn't know what the talents or anything, but I was working and I didn't have any responsibility. We both had well-paid salaries. We have had vehicles, we had servants, we have mother-in-law, mother, everyone to take care of kids. I had houses, nothing to be complained. But I didn't know what was being married and being responsible because I had everything. So at the age of 27, everything collapsed in life. And we have to take a break, and then I left as a single mother with young 2 beautiful kids, which was below 5 years, both of them. So I thought, then everyone said, you have failed in everything in your life. So that's when I realized life is not going to be easy. That's when I realized I have failed in life. When you fail in life, Puta, one thing to remember, everyone can speak to you. The friends whom you thought are going to be your friends will not be there. What will be there is who you are. Do you want to live again? Do you know your talents? So that's how I found it. It was not me who found it. It was Actually, when I was finally working for a multinational company, I was the first female HRD officer for 1,000 male employees. There I did a program and I was supposed to bring someone who had a life story like me. So I invited someone who was the chairman of the youth ministry at that time. And I waited for this guy to come and one van came and he got down. I thought someone else. Then to see that was a trainer, a small man who was not having dressed properly. To see he was a farmer and he has not gone for school for until age of 10 or 12. He actually a visiting lecturer for one of USA universities, and he told me and he said, I still remember his only words for me. He said, Sulochana miss, ගෙදර ගිහිල්ලා හිතලා බලන්න ඇයි මම ජීවත් වෙන්නේ. He said, go home and think why you are living. Because at that moment, I have given up my life. I wanted to go away with my life. I wanted to kill myself. I never wanted to live because I was a happy person. I had everything. Now everything collapsed. Who used to be my friend has left me. People who invited me to open their shops, who invited me for weddings, parties has stopped me inviting. I was alone as a young girl with 2 kids. So he said, find a purpose of life. He said, go home and think about why you are living. I want all of you all to write down this. Go home and ask this question. Why am I living? Ai mama jeevat wen. Why am I living? Find that purpose in your life. Whenever you fail in life, whenever you think that life is not good for you, read that answer. Why am I living? So at the age of 33, I found my answer. It took me years to find my answer. At the age of 33, I found my answer and I left my multinational company job after 9 years of working for that company. I still remember my boss was a Czechoslovakian and he asked me why you want to give a resignation without a job. You have 2 kids. I said, no, it's okay. I'll find my way. I came home, very little saving. 2 kids were going to a Colombo schools, had lived a very high level of life, very much expensive life, and didn't know how to move forward. So that's the age 33, I found myself, the purpose of my life. So I'm just telling how the roadmap of my life, purpose, 4 pillars of leadership. These are actually, now it's in theory on Harvard, but these are the things I learned from writing my own this thing. If you really look at, there are so many diaries in my office, even books which I have written my life in my own way, right? So the 4 pillars of leadership, knowing about me, meeting external inspirational personalities, meeting my mentors, my personal goals and roadmap, participant activities. That means I actually participate networking with CEOs and review. This was my roadmap to my life. Even today I do this. Every year on the 31st of December, I write my yearly purpose of life. And I put my leadership, because when I grow, every year our leadership pillars change. And every year I learn something about me. And I ensure at least I meet 2 or 3 people inspirational externally. And I find a new mentor. Remember, my mentors are not just CEOs. From grassroots level to all the level, I find mentors, because that's how life can. And the personal goal, roadmap, participant, that it means participant when I have membership. So I get them. I always get myself empty. Then only I can learn. So I get my, whatever I learn today, even today, if I learn from you, I'll go and share with my members so that it goes out from me and I get empty. When a bottle is full of water, you cannot pour more water because it's full. And sometimes we keep that water for 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, and for years. So then how can we put new water? Because we have all this old water being in that bottle. So you have to pour it up, you have to clean it out to put new things. So that has been my purpose of life. I always share it. Networking with CEOs. Networking with CEOs, last 2 years ago, I ensured that I will go out of the country, and I've gone out of the country means I'm going to the global platform. I have gone in my life. Then I do my own review. This is my roadmap of my life, right? So what happened was in life is at the age of 33, I started my own company. If you want to know what is rejection, you just look at me and I'll just tell you all few rejections which I went through. I was rejected by my family because in our family, no one, we are a family which has a lot of rules, and we have in our family we don't have breakup of marriages, right? So I was rejected by my family. I was rejected by people whom I call my friends. I was rejected by the society, and I was rejected by my own self. So those are the rejections are very powerful. When you have hit the bottom of your life, then only you get to know who you are. I knew that I had no one, but I knew I am someone for my kids. So I have to live my life. So I started my own consultancy company. I didn't know anything about business. I didn't know anything about entrepreneurship. I started my company for filling employment for higher position, because at that time I have made a name in the corporate sector and people knew me. So I was able to help myself and to fight. So I was doing well. But then the things were not enough to go well, because then my children has to face a lot of issues in schools, because our system in schools were not good for single parenting. Then my son actually underwent a lot of stress from school, where he was one of the best students, but he started getting gradings down. So I was told by the school, because you are a single parent, and so the child is having. I said, no, there's nothing to do with the child, but to see the school system is not supporting because of his family background, which is coming. So I have to help my child to believe in himself. So I studied child psychology to help him. So when he was not good with his gradings, I still remember one of the teachers called and said, he will not pass his O levels. I said, it's okay for me. I don't want him to pass his O levels. I want him to I want him to get the experience of sitting for a national exam. And then there was this one boy. So I'm telling you all, don't ever think of bullying. That is one of the criminals. I think I went through a lot with my son. So that boy was giving him a very hard time. He was living next to my house and few houses away. So this boy comes to my place and I really love him. He has three brothers, right? So I went and complained to his father, his mother, and to school. And everyone said, here, look at, he's from a good family. He has a mother and father. Your son doesn't have a father. So that's why you are complaining. So, but I kept on telling that, no, there is something wrong with this boy he's going through. But they didn't take action. So what happened is on the 24th night on the December, the mother of this child put fire to the father who was sleeping in front of the three kids. Then only the whole school opened the eyes, because then they realized there has been an issue. So that issue was taken from my son's life, right? He was giving a very stressful time. But since I studied my child, I was able to help my son to overcome it, going through with that boy. But what happened, the best part is I was able to bring my son as the best performing child before the O levels, and the whole school got shocked. He said, how did you do it? I said, I didn't put him to tuition, but I taught him to be who he is. I taught him to give power to his mind than giving power to other people's words. So I'm telling you, Puta and Dua, if people say who the hell you are bad, or you're not going to be successful, don't think about that. You're going to be successful and you're going to be happy. So my son finishes O levels, and today he did his LLB in the lawyer. He's a lawyer, and now he's working for. He's now 25 years old. He's a big boy, but this is how I made him who he is. Sometimes you have to stand on your 2 feet and say that I'm going to be who I am. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be whom I want to be. So don't let people put you down. I fought my son, and everyone said you should have taken him out of your school. I did, because then my son will learn that when an issue comes, to go out from that issue. I wanted him to face it and come out from it. So I'm telling you, don't look at a issue as a problem. Look at it as an opportunity for you. I have looked at those things in a way. So that was my roadmap in my life, when with my kids as a mother. But if you look at my personal life, so after the recruitment company, my business partner Nilam said there was advertisements for asking for what do you call pharmacy distributors, right? Medical distributors. I have never taken medicine. I do not knew anything about it. It was a tender. I actually put it, and I got the tender. And from, I think for last 8 years, I've been distributing medicine for multinational companies, right? So that was not a field of me, but I did it. But then things were not working out properly, because I felt that Sri Lanka is not doing what I want in corporate. So I'll tell you how I came to who I am now after shifting my business into a separate thing. So 4 pillars of leadership. So these are relationship building. I think I have built leadership, relationships, changing, and embracer, change embracer. I think I am one of the people who has actually embraced change. I love change, and I get adapted to change. Then every year I learn something. I go for education. I get myself a training. I ensured at least one training for me. While I'm training others, I get myself a training and strategic thinking. I never think for short term, I think for long term. So those are the 4 talents which I have put in a corporate concept, because these were not my 4 pillars on this. They were, but not these titles. Now I'm in very professional level, I'll put it. So understand, if you want to be who you are, if you want to be successful, relationship building, learn to build relationship, change, embrace. If don't just say, oh, this is not now Sri Lanka, what has happened? Because we are not ready to embrace change. We ask for change, but we are not ready to embrace change. We want change. If for example, if when you go home, if your mother has cleaned your house and taken your table into another place, you will fight. Why did you take this table? It's comfortable and I'm not used to. My mind is there. I want the table there. But you don't. But you still wanted your room to be clean. But are you ready to embrace that change? Talent development. Don't ever think I know. Sri Lankan people always think this. I know everything. I know. Always remember, we don't know. So develop talent. Talent is not just having education. Talent is having common sense. Talent is the motivation to learn from someone. You don't need to learn from educated people only. Learn from the cleaner. Learn from someone like whom you have no clue. Always be open-minded. I always say learning does not come in a classroom. Learning does not come from books only. Learning comes with life experience. Learning comes with people whom you're building relationship. I'm a person who works from from the multinational to the big company CEO to the grassroots level, the road cleaner. If you go and ask Colombo people, road cleaners about me, they will be knowing. If you go and ask from a corporate leader, they know me. Because that's how I have built myself. I'm not going to be happy just being knowing myself in corporates, in businesses. If the cleaner, if the road cleaner, or if the poorest person does not know, I have walked in every area of this country and I have lived their lives with them. I have lived my life in 7-star hotels, but I've lived my life in a small house or somewhere where I slept with these people, because that's where I develop myself. Strategical thinking. If you can't think ahead, you are not going to be successful or happy. If you can't make a decisions of thinking about planning your life, don't ever think just because you put a plan, it's going to work. No, it's not going to work, but you have to think ahead. You should be able to be a strategical thinker, be diplomatic, and also be logical when you are thinking. Don't think because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to be successful. No. Have some minuses also. Then you are going to be a strategical thinker, right? So relationship, change, talent, and strategy. So these are the 4 pillars. If you all are thinking about building your life and motivating. How many of you all look at yourself in the mirrors every day? I know girls look at it. Boys, you're looking at it. How many times per day, for example? 4, 3. I don't think girls go for 3. I think every time, even from a phone, you put a selfie and look at yourself, right? So I will tell, even if it's 20 times, look at yourself in a mirror or a form of selfie. And look at yourself and smile to yourself and say you're happy and say you're beautiful. The whole world will laugh at you. Are you mad, man? Let them say, but say at least in the morning when you look at it in the mirror, say 3 good things about you. Okay, you have got bad marks for your exam. Look at it in the mirror and say, it's okay, I'm going to get good results. I will be getting good. I'm beautiful. I'm talented. I'm happy. That's enough. If you are, that's why I always say Sri Lankan people go on trips and go for this Segera and all those stuff. You all should go and meet people who has failed in life. If you have gone to Susantika's house when she was going for the Olympic, you would have seen how her room has been. How many positive, how when she gets up, what she reads the first. When she turned right side, what she read the first. And if you have met people who has made themselves from failures to who they are. India, that's what they do. When we say someone has failed, we put them like a failures to failure. We don't look at their successes at all. We actually look at people' personal life rather than people who has achieved success. So mind your this thing, build relationships. Go and ask from a road cleaner, is she happy? Many of them will say, yes, they are happy. One of the ladies whom I met recently, she was telling me, ma'am, I was in abroad for last 7 years. I came back. I have got my kids married and I'm doing this. This enough for me, ma'am. At home, when I go home, I watch TV. I get myself fried rice or kottu roti and I sleep well, ma'am. And I can go anywhere I want. So remember, our happiness is not equal to another person's happiness. But if you meet a CEO and ask them, is he happy? He said, how to sleep with this fuel issue? Oh, I'm thinking about what my company got. So that road cleaner is happier than the CEO, right? So there are 2 different of success in life. So you have to build these relationships to understand it. Otherwise, you are going to go on a life where you think that is success, that is happiness. No one is going to motivate you, Alputa. Only you can motivate you all. No one is going to help you all, Putta, unless you will start to help yourself, right? I'm going to stop sharing the other one and I'll talk to you all. Okay, now I'm just giving you all, finishing my story. Now I just put it this in, then I'm letting you all to ask me some questions, right? So after I started shifting my company into pharmaceutical recruitment, I realized that companies are not actually recruiting people whom I thought the women to leadership positions. So I have to find out why it's not going, why they are not recruiting people. So what happened was I did a research in Sri Lanka, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Then I found out they all have the same this thing that women are not in top. And I wanted to change that because I never felt there is an issue that women cannot go to top, because I have never felt that. So I went to Singapore and I did my one of my programs called Learning the Big Positive Thinking. My studied and my training was given by Singapore. So if you ask me on positive thinking, Sri Lanka, positive thinking is given to grown-up women and grown-up people, corporate people and people like you all. In Singapore, the positive thinking were given to pregnant mothers. So when I went for the training in Singapore, I opened the door and to see the full of pregnant women. So I came out and I thought I have gone for the wrong training. Then the trainer came out and said, no, you have not come for the wrong training. I said, no, I'm not pregnant. Why am I in the pregnant room? Then they said, no, this is the positive thinking program. Then I went and I sat there, and to think, they give the positive thinking to the pregnant mothers so they can absorb the positive thinking so that the baby in the womb is born with positive thinking. So what they say is when a child is born with positive thinking, they become good citizens and they become motivated citizens. When we grow up, we learn about positive thinking after the age of 15 or 16 or 17. And the value system they put it is as an unborn child to the child. Our nurseries also has not put it. I'm going to ask from you all one question and I want you all to answer it. Are we supposed to be a legal, adhere to the laws in the country, or being ethical and value-driven citizens in this country? Should be lawful citizens or value-driven ethical citizens?
Value-driven ethical citizens.
Value-driven ethical citizens, okay. I want some more answers. If I ask you, okay, tobacco is legal or illegal?
Illegal.
Illegal? Illegal. There is a tobacco company in the country. It is legal. There is employment, there is a tobacco company in Sri Lanka. It is legal. But with your values, if you're given an opportunity to work in a tobacco, will you consider being legal or being ethical with your values? It is legal to have a tobacco company, but the question is it ethical for me? So always remember, everything is which is legal is not sometimes is ethical and be line with your values. So when you have a doubt of being legally correct and ethically correct, always choose ethically correct, so that you can be happy that you have live your life with values. It's okay to be legally corrected. It's nothing right. You're going to be, but is it consciously okay with me? That has to be matter. So that's a question which came to me when I chose my business to run my women in management when I started in year 2009 in Sri Lanka, just after the war, where I saw everyone was talking about women empowerment. I didn't see any empowerment here. So I did my research when I went to Singapore and Malaysia. I realized there is a different concept. So I came back and I started to put it as a private company. I was rejected thrice by the companies. They said, you know, these are women, you should get charity. I said, no, we are not a charity. We are going to be a private company. That so my organization became the Sri Lanka's first women private professional networking company in Sri Lanka. Started in year 2009, the concept, and I got the registration. Now it's almost, I think, 12 to 13 years in Sri Lanka. I have a branch in Canada. I have a branch in Maldives, and Australia and USA also registered. And I had the one of the largest ever had program in Dubai for 23 countries in Dubai. And one of the Dubai Sheikh officers sent an email saying that one of the biggest and one of the professional event they ever had in Dubai, and 23 countries, I would say the business and the CEOs flew to Dubai just to attend one of my programs. Remember what I told you. I was just a girl who had no goal in life, who was failed, who was rejected, right? And who made a local brand of my own this thing into a global brand. And my members are not just members. They are a lot of corporate leaders, business leaders, politicians. And even in Sri Lanka, politicians flew to Dubai and politicians flew to Canada, for Maldives, wherever I had programs, because they have seen, and not only Sri Lankan politicians, even Indian Parliament politician came to my programs from Dubai. So if you want to win your life, Putha, it's not what other people say. In my life, I have cried a lot. I have failed a lot. I have lost a lot of money. But I have made a brand because I believed in myself. And brand means not what you wear, not what you drive, not what you occupy. The brand is who you are. When you are a brand, don't worry about other things. That's why they say, no, the Facebook own, or they just wear the t-shirt or this thing. But we want Nike. We want other, because we are not brand. So we want our brand, expensive brands to make us brands. No, when you are a brand, to date, I drive a very small vehicle, and everyone asks me, why should I get a vehicle? If I can drive that small vehicle, if I can go where I want, I never bothered about me. And it took me years after I gave my children, and my son is 25 almost, and my daughter is 22. And my son has finished his degree and now he's working. My daughter also working, but she's still in the final years. After I gave the education only, I started building my house. Because for me, my purpose of life is not having material things, because I used to have it. My purpose of life is being someone to my kids, being someone to this country, being telling the women, mothers who has lost everything, that to live again, helping you to develop themselves, helping you to understand that they need to have exposure. Our youth is always very, they think they know internet, they think they are in social media, they think, but if you compare, I have traveled to so many, I have worked in Afghanistan, I have worked in Bangladesh, I have worked in Pakistan, I have worked in India, Malaysia, Singapore, and I have seen Our youth are still backwards. Our youth have not come out because we think our knowledge is enough to go into the world. No, our knowledge is not enough unless you start living alone in your own purposeful life, unless you know how to spend money, unless you know how to save money, unless you know to build relationship, unless you know to live your life according to your rules, your values, and respecting others. We are a very sympathized country, but we have less empathy. Without empathy, you cannot have success. Without empathy, you cannot find happiness. And if people say, you don't need to go for motivational speakers and everything every day. Be your own motivator. How to be your own motivator? Every year or every month or whatever this thing, write 10 things good about you. 10 things good about you. Every day in the morning, read those 10 things. Before you go to sleep, if you can't write it, put it on your phone. Something 10 good about you. Not about anyone, not what others say. 10 things about good about you. Read it before you go to sleep, and when you wake up, just from the phone, send a text message. I always do. When I want to do something for me, I put a message to myself. When I'm really down, I put this thing. Hey, Sulo, you are the best. That happened to me. I send a message to me. Then I get a tick. So I read, someone has said, it's me who has said something good about me. That's enough. Don't wait. Other people cannot bring happiness to you. Other people cannot motivate you. Other people cannot take your success. Think about it. What you are learning or today, you may be in a class, but when you go home, be who you are. Don't let people, if you're dark and people say, my family, my brother is very, very dark and he's pure black. My sister is very fair, right? And I'm into the middle. But then again, I always been told, the black women are, dark women are ugly. And someone has said that is a Lord curse. And I always say, I always felt that I'm beautiful for myself, right? So don't worry about it. I have been a very thin person. Now I'm fat, and I see my son also very big man because my father is big man, my brother is big man, and when my daughter is not big man, and she put this thing to my son, I always say, my son, you are look good as you are. If you become so thin, you will not look smart. So don't let anyone tell anything about your body size, your color, your hair, your face. Remember, you're unique. You're enough for you. You're beautiful. That is enough. And if you are not good in maths, it's okay. You can be good in something. If you are not good in something, learn about it. Don't feel that everything is for people whom the so-called system called bright. No. The world has so many things to offer you. Take part of it. Let people who describe you all to have their own description. Prove them wrong when you find yourself. I'll let it you all to ask me any questions you all want to ask from me, and I'll be happy to answer. And before I finish here, since you all young girls and boys, I want to tell you all one thing. This age, if you all try to find love, you all never find love, because this is you all are not grown up to find love, but you all find crushes. If you don't have a crush on a girl or a boy, you're sick, right? So it's okay to have a crush. It's okay to like someone, and it's just an emotion, nothing else. So it is okay that if a boy or a girl is looking at you, that's good, right? And but don't let that thing to come out and say, oh, we are ready to get married. No, you are not, right? And don't have that mindset, put it in that I'm not going to get married and I don't want to get married, those are stupid things, right? And if you've grown up and if you decided of not getting married, it's up to you all. But don't think that marriage finishes with love. Marriage starts with love. And don't think that all the boys are, are going to be cheaters. And don't think that all the girls are going to be players and they have so many affairs. Don't think like that. And don't think that just because a girl WhatsApp her photo, that you have right to forward it to everyone and put a comment and put her down. The moment you put a woman characters down, you're actually putting your character down. And don't think that when a boy say you're beautiful, that he is on me and he is going to be behind me and he's over me. Don't think about that. He just said that you are beautiful. Respect each other. Without respect each other, you will never get your own respect. So the moment a girl said, no, I'm not ready to have an affair, don't go and gossip about her that she is this woman, this kind, because you are actually gossiping about yourself and your upbringing of your parents. And the girls, just because a boy says he likes you and you don't like him, don't go and gossip and say that because he's like this, I have told that he was like this. That's why I said, no, you don't need to say that, because then you're actually putting down your father and your upbringing and yourself. Be happy that someone liked you and be happy that you are someone to be liked. That is how to move forward. Love starts with marriage and ends in a very different way. And this is not love this age. It's a crushes, it's a hormone change. So be happy and have emotions. It's okay to just send a flirting message and all that, but don't let that take you off. Okay, over to you.
Ma'am,
Yes.
how did you endure the pressure given by the society and the family for your career and your life?
Okay, so after my divorce, I think for 6 years, I was not invited to any family function or a wedding or anything. As I told you, I started building myself. I was be able to play a huge role in my kids' lives and also in the society and in a corporate world. So people started, there were a lot of press releases about me being the change in many of the lives and all that. I spend less time with my family. I spend more time with people whom I didn't know and people whom I want to develop. So building myself and also not giving anyone's negative things to come to me. That is, I think I stopped crying over things. I stopped loving myself. I focus on two things in my life: to educate my kids and to build a brand for myself. Those two actually got respect and everything back to me, that actually my family and especially my close family started respect. And I came out and I told, because I was told not to say I'm a single mom. I told out, even today, the Sri Lanka's first single mother project was founded by me. And I still remember the Ministry of Women Affairs called me and said, don't use the word single mother because we are a Buddhist country, a very cultural country. We can't afford it. Call it women-headed household. I said, no, I'm going to call it. And if you want, you can sue me. But they couldn't find this thing to sue me. And to date, the first Sri Lankan single mother project was founded and the brand is owned by myself. So I have 6 brands, international brands owned by me. So that's how I build. I actually build my own self in a professional way and also as a mother, so that my kids started respecting and believing me. I wanted my kids to have a mentor, an inspirational me, not someone else outside. So that made my family and society started respecting me for who I am.
Hi, Dr. Segera. Susan here. I hope you can hear me, ma'am.
Yes, Susan. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Segera, for your time. Dr. Segera, now I have a question if I may ask you, ma'am.
Yeah, ask me.
So I have always noticed you as a very bold lady, not just in your fashion, but also, when you talk, you're unafraid to express yourself, ma'am. So after having faced so much of negativity, especially from the outside, if you could just tell us, ma'am, what is that one script or that statement that you tell yourself, being a woman, what is that self-talk you have with yourself to still stay strong and bold despite of the noise that we hear externally, ma'am?
If I remember, Susan, once I told you that we should not fit to the fashion, fashion should fit to us. In same way, I say I should not fit to the society, society should fit to me, right? So my first thing, even today when I get up in early morning, I say one thing to me: thank you for my life, and I'm happy for who I am, and I love my life, and I love the people in my life. That's the only statement I say to my life. Even to today, if you come, you can see in my almara, I have the same thing in my this thing. So I always love myself. When I love myself, I know I can love anyone. I never seek love from outside, because I believe that when you seek love, you lose yourself. I never seek friendship outside because I try to be a friend. When you seek a friendship outside, you try to fit to someone. But when you become a friend, you are ready to be friend to anyone. When you love yourself, you love to serve. So that's where I have, more than externally, I have internally built myself. So one of the key things I always say is, I'm good enough to me. I love myself and I'm going to be happy and I'll make others happy. That is my, for last, now I'll tell you all, I'm 48 years. I think for last 20 years, I have repeated this. And I will be repeating it again.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That's a very powerful statement, and thanks for sharing that with us, ma'am.
No questions from young girls and boys?
Hi, Doctor. This is
Hi.
Sanjeev.
Yes, Sanjeev.
We always, thank you very much for, coming for this discussion, Doctor. Now, one thing I want to ask, always we talk about equal rights for women. Is it the equal right, the right question?
No, there's nothing called equal rights. No, it's wrong. We are above men, men are above us. So there's no equal right. It's just, proper rights it's a human right. Look at women as humans, look at men as humans. I have a boy and girl. I can't ask for a girl's right and forget about the boy. I have to have human rights. I want my children to be respected by each and every person, and I want my daughter's respect, my son's respect. And I want the same positions for both.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to hear. We always talk about equal rights. So equal right is not the right word. I always, that's not the right word.
That I always has corrected that, kitchen is not cooking only for girls. Kitchen is cooking for men and women. So same way, the vehicles are not driven only by men. It's the passengers also girls, women, and the drivers also women and men both. So why we are giving a car for a boy and a doll for the girl. When the child is born by a mother and father, the car is driven by a man and a woman. We have specifically said these for men, these for girls. And same way, I want to tell you that the colors of blue and pink, actually the fashion design in 1840 or 1940, before this thing came, the girls' color was blue and the boys' colors were pink. The fashion designer wanted to do a change and brought this color change, dressing a girl in blue pink and a boy in blue. And then suddenly the whole world came up. Boys are blue, girls are pink. When a fashion designer brought this to change a concept, right? So we go for trends without knowing the history. There's nothing called color combination. And colors are for boys, colors are for girls. It's how you think. Biologically, we are different. How we think, we are different. How the emotion works, we are different. That's why we are unique. If we are the same, if the way we were boys thinks, we also thinks, then the boys won't get attracted to us. If the girls thinks the way the girls think, then how come the girls will get attracted to boys, right? So there is a two different way. I think we have to understand it.
I have one more question, ma'am. Sorry. Rather, young people have, no, we have people from Batiklu and also we have people from, youth from Abilipity. No, not when you compare what the facilities we have here in Colombo or suburbs. I mean, they have bit of challenges when it comes to certain, education, even so many other ways. I know, especially in Abilipity, they're facing so many challenges, not like Colombo or not like, somewhere close to suburbs. So what is the advice or what you see in this, areas when you compare or when you see how they can think to themselves and they can come out of it rather than think about the resources or what other things we don't have. So
Batiklo is my, I lived as a child in Batiklo, and where I travel a lot. I think Batiklo is one of the best places. It's not the facilities about technology or other things, but you all have the best education after Jaffna. Batiklo used to be one of the key best education centers. I learned my basketball from Batiklo. My first coach was the father who was there, right? So Batiklo, the education system, and it's just the facility, and you all have a best of the tourism and everything. But I think the Batiklo, one of the negativity that has seen is a lot of young, with the war was ending, a lot of young people has come on to a lot of dependency. You have to come out from that. You all have to look at in a very productive way. And the facility wise, I don't think Batiklo town has a facility, but yes, the other areas where I travel a lot, they have this thing. But what you can come out is, as I said, think globally. COVID has shown us, unless you think globally, you will have issues. You should not focus on the things you don't have. Focus on the things you have much and improve it. Amblyopia is one of the areas that needed a lot of attention, which have been there. So what I can say is for amblyopia students is, if you are struggling and you are struggling, and if you think that Colombo people has the benefits, yes, material wise, Colombo people do have, but material wise, remember this word, material wise. But the environment and the things you have, Colombo people does not have. So don't compare Colombo or the people who have facilities. I want you all to compare yourself with yourself and also think globally. Don't try to be a Colombo person. Trying to be a global person. Why you all learning English? Because you all want to communicate. And remember, English is a language for communication. And it is not this thing just to put someone down. And also don't think because the Colombo people has this issue. We are Colombo. So I was born in Colombo 7. I studied in Colombo. I lived in Colombo. But I can go to any area and say, because I always look at myself as a Sri Lankan, right? So I want you all to think what you have and focus on your ability and go on to global. Highest people who has gone to global are not from Sanjeev, not from Colombo. If you really look at the our Sri Lankan government sector and also Sri Lankans who has gone abroad, the areas are not Colombo. Actually, Colombo people has not gone, and the universities also cannot come. It's from the Colombo, outside Colombo. The best thing is, but one of the thing is, we come in a mindset, say, oh, we are not Colombo. And then we come to Colombo and we try to be a Colombo person. Don't try. It's only the facilities and material wise. Otherwise, our culture and our mindset should be think as a Sri Lanka. Don't look at the facilities. I know when you look at if you look at the Headway in Jaila, those children has all the facilities and they give all the facilities in Jaila. I have seen it, right? But if you all think, oh, they have facility and we don't ever feel so. I'm a person who has never compared myself. When I see a happy family and a happy husband and a happy father, I've never felt jealous. I never ever felt jealous of them. I have blessed them. Because we always think that we don't have things till we see that. I always tell to my children, when you find shoes and when we see someone who's without a leg, we understand the value of our leg. We cry for things that we don't have. So one of my cousins are, one of my nephew is blind, right? He's same age of my son. So my son was complaining that, oh, my specs are not right. I said, look at that boy. He can't see. My brother, youngest brother, my cousin is deaf and dumb. I have taught in deaf and dumb school as a small age, and I am still doing training for deaf and dumb on sign language, on entrepreneurship. I'm the only lady who's doing, and I'm doing for programs for blind school also, right? So because I have known it, so I always go tell them they can't express it, but still they're happy. Do they feel jealous for us? So don't ever think you're down. Don't ever compare yourself. Look at what you have and come through that, and you will win the life.
Thank you very much for highlighting. The same thing I wanted to mention here also. Their location or where they live, their family background should not be a reason. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.